Hey everybody, it's the Jimmy Dore Show. I'm Aaron Maté here with Americans comedian Kurt Metzger. We're talking about the force to vote that just happened in Congress with House Republicans in the Freedom Caucus winning concessions from Kevin McCarthy in return for their vote to him, for him as House Speaker. And you know who was not happy about this was obviously Kevin McCarthy and his allies, who were embarrassed as this went through 15 rounds of voting before they finally caved enough to give the Freedom Caucus what they want and to give McCarthy the votes. But who's also upset about this is establishment media, who are not pleased with how this went. This is not how, in their eyes, Washington is supposed to go. So here's Chuck Todd of NBC News.
Oh, he's my favorite.
Good Sunday morning. What a start to the new year. What we saw this week was a decade in the making. Since the downfall of the Bush presidency, the Republican Party has had an identity crisis. From the Tea Party to the Freedom Caucus, Republicans know what they are against, but they can't seem to agree on a vision of what they're for. To be clear, this inter-party debate is the cause of the lion's share of so-called Washington dysfunction.
You hear that? So the lion's share of Washington's dysfunction is not because of, say, corruption, corporate rule, the military-industrial complex.
Happening in
it's democracy happening.
To. Because they did.
It's a week of voting, basically.
Chuck just says what's on the thing. He just reads the thing and says it.
And that's why he's
like Brick from Anchorman.
Yes,
the Steve Carell guy. That's Chuck Todd. He's the Brick.
And that's why he sounds so dejected all the time, because he's just reading off of the thing.
Sometimes I'll hear him say something like, "Oh, Chuck Todd said a thing," like once, but it goes away quickly.
Yeah.
What should have been an easy victory lap for this new House Republican majority instead became a brutal 4-day game of chicken. For 14 excruciating rounds of votes, a record stretching back before the Civil War, Kevin McCarthy fell short again and again and again.
You never have to ask me again if I'm a no on Kevin McCarthy. I will never vote for Kevin McCarthy.
If Kevin McCarthy doesn't bow out, then he will have to live the entirety of his speakership in a straitjacket.
Our message to Speaker-elect McCarthy is that framework serves as the template by which we're going to be holding him accountable.
Well,
and even on the second anniversary.
Thank God, because as I heard before, McCarthy's really, really bad.
We don't want him to become speaker.
I remember everyone saying that frantically. Colbert said it and Fallon agreed.
Of the January 6th insurrection, a fight even nearly got physical on the House floor at the very end. This was supposed to be the easy part for the House Republicans.
2 years after January 6th, a fight almost happened again on the House floor.
Oh, wait, now January 6th, that is the 9/11 of my betters?
Yes.
I call it?
Yes. We almost had another one. Thank God it was averted.
He put his hand like a BDSM thing over it. He was fish hooked him.
But maybe the QAnon shaman should be rounded up and locked in prison just in case things look out of hand.
If you were a blue anon shaman, would you have like a big Rachel Maddow hair instead of Viking hat?
Yes, you would.
Legislating is what's hard and is going to be harder. Among McCarthy's concessions, a provision that would enable any one member to oust him from the job. So imagine going...
Not true, okay? It's not to oust him from the job. It's not as if one member could say, hey, you're out, Kevin McCarthy. It means they have the right to call a vote on it, which there's no way it's going to pass unless you have a major, major revolt from a lot more Republicans. But
he's saying this like it's like bad news. Like shit. It's really weird because so clearly they don't like Republicans on MSNBC
and democracy.
He's like, imagine you had to go to work and you could just be voted out. Like how a democracy works.
No, popular rule doesn't work for them.
Through these roll call votes at random times throughout the year, because one Republican House member is upset at leadership. This was not exactly how the Republican Party wanted to showcase itself to the American public as a future governing party. Among the questions now, can these House Republicans avoid the fate of the House Republicans of 94, whose actions helped re-elect Bill Clinton in 96, or the House Republicans of 2010, whose actions helped re-elect Barack Obama 2 years later? Can the government keep the lights on? Both of those Republican houses helped orchestrate government shutdowns. Will this Republican House do the same? The first big test is going to be the debt ceiling. McCarthy has already pledged not to raise.
So when George Bush and Donald Trump get elected, is that not the fault of the House Democrats and their actions before?
No.
It's only when Republicans do it.
He just reads what's on the screen, Aaron.
Debt limit without major cuts. It's a promise that raises the specter of government default. Will Congress even be able to fund the Defense Department, especially in the middle of Ukraine's war with Russia?
Oh, no.
The horror.
I was waiting for him to get to the thing I really care about.
The horror. The Defense Department might not get funded.
What happens when we run out of our old crappy weapon systems that don't really work that we were dumping on them to drag out? Will we be able to buy more non-working Patriot missiles?
It's largely being funded by the United States. Will House Republican investigations be more professional or simply be personal attacks for political gain? And is this the beginning of more chaos that will define the Republican Party over the next 2 years?
You can see they look at it like it's a corporation. All that, we should run America like a bit. They do. Good news, everyone who wanted that. That's like, the thing he's describing as awful is literally how democracy should be.
Yep.
And I want to see them fist fighting in there. Don't hold the guy back next time. It was like, is this an orderly boardroom to answer to the top? Like, that's what they want it to be. Just like a top down, completely like you get your memo and then you do your best to make it happen.
Everybody, we're doing live stand-up comedy in Los Angeles in January and February in Los Angeles. And then we're going to Tempe, Palm Springs, Milwaukee, Minneapolis, Nashville. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for all those tickets and become a premium member while you're there.